Picture this with me. A soldier stands on a battlefield, armor dented, exhausted, and outnumbered. He's talented, skilled, strong, and he knows every tactic, every maneuver, every survival instinct. But he's alone, and no matter how strong he is, no matter how trained he is, no matter how disciplined, a soldier standing alone is a soldier who won't survive long. Now, imagine something changes. He hears footsteps behind him. Not enemies, but allies, men or women who lock shields with his, who can cover the angles that he can't see, who shout warnings that he can't hear, who fight beside him when the attack gets heavy, who refuse to leave him behind, and who say with their presence, "You may be tired, but you're not alone. Not today, not ever." That right there is what today's episode is all about. Because some battles were never meant to be fought solo. Some fights require something deeper than skill or strength. They require brotherhood. They require sisterhood. They require community in the trenches. Welcome back to Unmasked, the podcast where we strip away the illusions of isolation and talk honestly about what it means to walk with God, with purpose, and with each other. I'm your host, Wesley Farnsworth, and this episode is part 3 of our series, The Power of Community. And today's episode is titled Brotherhood of Battle: Why You Can't Fight Alone. This is the episode where we shift from safe spaces, the places that comfort us, to battle spaces, the places where we grow, fight, and overcome. Because healing is one thing, transformation is another. But overcoming, that requires a team. So let's get into it. Let's start with something simple, but incredibly true. You don't need a crowd. You need a crew. A crowd watches you, but a crew carry you. A crowd applauds you, but a crew challenges you. A crowd sees your highlight reel, but a crew sees your battles. A crowd can admire you, but a crew can fight with you. And if life is a battle, which it absolutely is, then you don't want to win battles with applause. You want to win them with allies. The greatest victories in Scripture were rarely solitary events. David had Jonathan. Moses had Aaron and Hur. Paul had Timothy, Silas, Barnabas, Luke, Priscilla, Aquila. Jesus had the 12. And even within that, he had 3. Anyone who tries to fight alone eventually falls alone. So let's just be direct here for a moment. Isolation doesn't just make you lonely. It makes you vulnerable. In nature, predators never attack the herd. They target the one who gets separated. You may feel strong. You may feel self-sufficient. You may feel like you have got the right tools and the right willpower. But hear me, you can be spiritually armed and still emotionally outnumbered. No one, and I mean no one, is strong enough for every battle alone. There are moments in your life when you will need someone to say, "Hey, I see that attack coming and I'm not going to let you take it alone." You will need somebody to link arms with you. There have been seasons in my life when I thought I could push through by myself. Seasons where I carried burdens quietly, where I fought battles internally, when I tried to muscle through the pain alone. But then God brought people into my life, brothers, mentors, friends, not to replace him, but to represent him. There were men who saw me fighting and saw the fight wearing me down and said, "Wes, I'm standing with you." They challenged me when I needed truth. They encouraged me when I felt empty. They refused to let me retreat into isolation. They reminded me of who I was when shame tried convincing me otherwise. And I'll tell you right now, I would not be here today. I would not be talking to you today through this podcast without those relationships. Even Jesus had people who held his arms up emotionally, physically, and relationally. And if the Son of God wasn't designed to walk alone, why do you think we are? Every person needs 3 kinds of relationships, 3 types of people who play different roles in the battle. So let's walk through those 3 different types of people. The first one is a Jonathan, someone who fights beside you. Jonathan wasn't just David's friend. He was David's brother in battle, someone who believed in him, defended him, encouraged him, protected him, and fought for him. A Jonathan is the person who says, "You don't scare me. Your struggle doesn't intimidate me. I'm not going anywhere." You don't need 10 Jonathans. You just need one. The second is a Nathan, someone who tells you the truth. Nathan was the one person who looked Daniel in the eyes and said, "You're off track. Here's the truth. Here's what you need to face." Nathan didn't embarrass him. Nathan didn't shame him. Nathan didn't reject him. He guided him back to God. You need someone in your life who loves you too much to lie to you. Someone who isn't threatened by your honesty and isn't impressed by your excuses. And finally, you need a Paul, someone who will build you up. Paul was the mentor, the discipler, the spiritual guide, the one who poured into others so that they could pour into others. You need someone older, wiser, or simply further down the road who can say, "I've been where you're going. Let me walk with you." This could be a pastor, a mentor, a counselor, a leader, a sponsor, someone who is mature in their faith. When you have these three people, a Jonathan to walk with you, a Nathan to sharpen you, and a Paul to guide you, you are spiritually protected. You are emotionally covered. You are relationally anchored, and you are equipped for battle. See, there's something different, though, about friendships that are built in struggle. Brotherhood that is built in trenches matters because they're deeper, they're stronger, they're bonded by battle, not convenience. Real brotherhood or sisterhood is forged in the trenches, in the late night texts, in the accountability moments, in the confessions that feel scary to voice, in the prayers prayed with tears, and the honest conversations that others will never see. Battle friends are the one who show up when your strength runs out. They call you out on lies that you're believing. They remind you of who you are when you forget. They cover you spiritually when you're under attack. They speak truth when you want to run. They say, "You're not doing this alone." And here's what's beautiful and humbling. You don't become strong when you fight alone. You become strong when you fight together. See, deep friendship goes beyond surface level connections because those aren't enough. Surface level friendships feel good, but they won't save your life. And you know what I'm talking about. The kind that just says, "How's work? How's family? How you been? Let's hang out sometime." Those friendships aren't bad. They're just not enough. Because when the spiritual battles hit, when you're staring down the darker parts of your story, when your mind is under attack, and when temptation is pounding at your door, you don't need a coffee butter. You don't need a coffee buddy. You need a foxhole friend. Someone who doesn't flinch when you're honest. Someone who doesn't step back when things get messy. Someone who doesn't give up on you when you're tired. Someone who doesn't let you disappear into isolation. You want somebody who, when stuff hits the fan, you know that you can turn to them. Because real friendship requires vulnerability. The kind that says, "This is who I really am. This is what I'm struggling with right now. And this is where I need help." You can only fight what you're willing to name. And you can only name it in front of people that you can trust with the truth. So let's talk about some practical systems that you can use to build a battle community. Because it's a great idea. Because great ideas don't change lives unless they become habits. So here are structures that create and sustain battle community. The first one is weekly check-ins. This can be a simple text or a call that just says, "How's your heart, really?" Just knowing somebody will ask keeps you grounded. The second one is accountability questions. Not generic ones, but real ones. Questions that reach below the surface. What's been weighing on you? What lie did you believe this week? Where did you feel tempted to hide? Those questions are accountability questions. The third one is in-person or video conversation, because honesty hits different. When you can look at someone in the eyes, you can tell if they're being honest or not. It's important to have those types of communication every week with somebody. Finally, a safe group, team, or ministry. Celebrate Recovery, a men's group, a women's group, a discipleship group, counseling sessions, trusted community. All of these environments are great because they create rhythm, they create consistency, and they create spiritual protection. You need a call me anytime person. You need a relationship that isn't scheduled. Someone that you can call at 11 p.m. someone you know, someone who knows the sound of your tears, someone who picks up on the second ring. You need somebody that can give mutual encouragement. Battle community isn't one-sided. You pour into them, they pour into you. You become stronger together. Iron sharpens iron. See, I'm not going to give details, but there was a night where I was overwhelmed, drowning internally, exhausted mentally, struggling spiritually. I didn't plan to tell anyone because I didn't want to bother anyone. I didn't want to admit how the heavy things felt. But one friend, a true brother, noticed something in my voice. And instead of brushing past it, he said, "What's going on? For real." He didn't judge me. He didn't fix me. He didn't quote scripture at me in a performative way. He just stayed with me and listened. And that night, his presence kept me from falling deeper into isolation. I won't give details, but there was a night where I was overwhelmed and really, really hurting. I was drowning internally. I was exhausted mentally, and I was really struggling spiritually. I didn't know what to do. So I called one of my trench brothers, and I talked to them, and they could hear it in my voice that I was struggling. And they said, "What's going on? For real?" And they just allowed me to vent and to share what was going on in that moment. He didn't judge me. He didn't try to fix me. He didn't quote scripture at me in a performative way. He just stayed with me and listened. And that night, his presence kept me from falling deeper into isolation. His presence kept me from potentially turning to my former addiction. Because sometimes God shows up through people who simply refuse to leave. So what's in your battle formation? Look at your life right now, not the version you present to others, the real one, and ask yourself, who are the people that are standing in my battle formation? Do you have a Jonathan to walk with you, a Nathan to sharpen you, a Paul to guide you? Do you have somebody who notices when you go quiet, someone who asks the deeper questions, someone who can challenge you without pushing you away, somebody who wants your healing as much as you do? And that is just as important. Whose battle formation are you standing in? Because community is not a one-way relationship. It's mutual, it's shared, and it's sacred. So here's your challenge for the week. Choose one person and invite them into your battle. Not with a full confession and not with every detail, but just one honest conversation. It could sound something like, "I need a Jonathan in my life. Can we talk once this week? Could we check in on each other? Can I share something that I'm carrying?" Just one step. Brotherhood or sisterhood begins with bravery. Not a dramatic bravery, but a relational bravery. So take the step and find your battle buddy. Thank you for joining me for episode 29 of Unmasked. In this series, we're uncovering the truth that healing happens in community. Not the shallow kind, but the kind forged in honesty, vulnerability, and commitment. Next time in episode 31, we'll finish the series with Freedom Multiplies, the Ripple Effect of Community. It's the episode where we talk about how healing doesn't stop with you. It grows, spreads, and impacts the lives around you. Until then, remember, you weren't made to fight alone. Strength grows in brotherhood and sisterhood. Victory is found in community, and freedom is forged in the trenches together. God bless you.